Hello. Yes, episode 3. This is right after episode 2. Um as you can see, I've made some changes. I've just duplicated the label and changed up the colors, added some icons with padding, and yeah, this looks very neat. I like it, and I also made it a little darker, and we're going to continue where we left off, and the next thing is going to be a slider. So let's not waste time and just get right into it. I'm gonna duplicate the button, call it slider. Now, I'm gonna do it by making this bigger so we have room for the slider. I'm gonna add 10 pixels. Now this title, I'm just gonna remove 10 pixels from the size. Yeah, now I'm gonna leave it the way it is, just rename this to slider. Remove this icon. I'm gonna replace it with the value, so just make this a little smaller, duplicate it, value, position it on the right like that, 24, boom, very easy. Text on the right, and there we go. Now it's time for the actual slider part. You're gonna add a frame, and you're gonna call it something like slider back. It's gonna be the background of the slider. I'm gonna make it slightly darker color and put it at the bottom like so, and change the size. Usually make it 4 pixels high. That looks about right. I'm gonna make the frame a little smaller, 38. There we go, that's fine. Now I'm gonna add a corner into this. I'm gonna add a stroke and make it a tiny bit darker. And then inside of slider back, you're gonna insert another frame and call it something like draggable, because this is the part that we're gonna be dragging. And we're gonna set the size to 0.5 on scale, and like this. Also copy the corner inside and change the color like so. There we go, there's your slider. Very simple. It's also really easy to script, by the way. We're gonna continue with a drop down maybe. Yeah, let's go with a drop down. So for the drop down, sorry, my throat is still bad, I'm still sick. I'm gonna copy the label, or actually the button, call it drop down, and I'm gonna change the title to drop down. Also, I really recommend that you watch these videos with music, because I don't have any music in them, so you can listen to your own, just to fill the gaps of silence where I'm using my small brain to think. So yeah, I'm gonna keep this icon. The only thing I'm gonna do is change it. So I'm gonna go back to icons 8 and look for arrow icon in Windows 10, and I'm gonna change the color here to white so I don't have to do it after. Let's see. Preferably like a downward pointing arrow, something like this, or this. Okay, I'm gonna go with sort. So I'm gonna type sort, and it's gonna give me those sorting icons, which is this one right here. I'm gonna go with this one. I've never seen anyone use it. The size is 20 by 20. So again, remove this, put your size, download, and use it. There we go. Looks pretty good to me. So now I'm gonna scroll down a little. Now this is something optional, but I'm just gonna add it for design purpose. As you can see over here, it's not really pretty with the clipping. So what you can do is go over to the content container. You're gonna add a frame, and you're gonna set the z index to like 10 to make sure it's always over everything. You're gonna set the border pixel to 0 and the size to like 1 on X scale, and then like 30 on Y. There we go. Now you're gonna add a gradient inside, and now watch this. We're gonna take this color and this also with that color, and then we're gonna change the rotation so it goes downward. We're gonna animate the transparency to slowly fade out. Now this creates a cool effect. I'm gonna make it less, also more like this. There we go. As you can see, now this is a problem, but we're gonna fix this in the script simply by making it fade out whenever the scroll is at its max height, and then fade in when it's like scrolling. So yeah, it's very cool. I'm gonna call it like fade. We can also add one in the bottom, which I'm gonna do later maybe, I don't know. So let's just make it invisible for now. So the drop down, I'm gonna make it have an overlay. So or actually no, I'm gonna have it resize. So when you have a drop down, you're gonna have to resize it so the elements fit. Now this, as you can see, we have a problem with the text, so we're gonna have to change the way it behaves. So instead of having the size on the Y be 1, we're gonna change it to the original size, which is 20. Okay, so we're just gonna change that right here, and our problem is solved. Now we're gonna be able to add stuff in here. So we're gonna add a frame, and we're gonna call this the option holder, and we're gonna offset it by 26 so it has like a nice spacing, and then the size just like this. It's a little too much, like that. There we go. And make it transparent, add a list layout, and a frame, actually a text label for the option. I'm gonna call it option. Change the background color to like something like this from the slider. Want to stay somewhat consistent with your colors. A reasonable size, and I'm gonna have a stroke literally. No, I'm gonna have a UI stroke right here and make it, oops, something like I'm gonna have it like this. Again, at a corner, just not as round. There we go. And change the text, font, Ubuntu, and option. Make sure it's a different color. less size, and I'm gonna make this an active option. I'm gonna add another. Make sure to change the padding here. I'm gonna make this a hover option. Now in here, I'm just gonna make the stroke white for a nice selection effect. And then another one for active option, which is the currently selected option, is going to be a different background. Something like this. And then a brighter text color. There we go. Now, as you can see, this looks weird. We're gonna be changing this size dynamically using some cool math. For now, we're just gonna like tone it down until it looks nice. There we go. So that's what our dropped-out is gonna be looking like. Now, here it's gonna be saying the sorry, it's gonna be saying the selected option. Jesus, dude. Yeah, and now how would we retract this? Well, first off, we make this clip its descendants, and then we literally just change the size like this. Now, as you can see, some issues with this. We're gonna change this. Hold on, I just realized the option holder isn't enough, so we're gonna have to resize this. 24. Yeah, there we go. So that works fine. And then this kind of just happens. So we're gonna have to like fade these out and then retract the size. So we're gonna have to make this thing invisible and then change the size to the original. There we go. That's your drop down done. Now, what else is there? Toggles. Let's continue with toggles. Again, copy the button, call it a toggle, and we're gonna change the title to toggle, and remove the icon. We don't need that. I'm gonna make this toggle text a little smaller so we have space for the toggle thing. And I'm gonna go with like a round check mark sort of thing. So we're gonna add a frame, check mark, holder, whatever. It's on the right. Change the size. And add some corner. I'm gonna keep it like that. Make it darker. Color consistency, some of it. Add a stroke. Yeah. I think this is a little too big for my taste. So I'm gonna go with like 16. Change the corner and position it properly. There we go, that's much better. Now I'm gonna have it like that, and then we're gonna have an icon in here, which is gonna be our check mark. And I'm actually going to position it in the center so I can change the size to be like a little smaller, like that. And we're going to go back here and search for our check mark. This one, download. What's it going to be? It's going to be 14 pixels. So if this loads 14, upload, make the background transparent, not the image. What? Hello? Oh, the image hasn't changed. There we go. Now we're gonna make this check mark invisible, and then we're gonna copy this toggle, and this one we're gonna name inactive, and this one we're gonna name active. And then I'm gonna go to the check mark holder and change the colors. Oh, nice green color with it. And then make the check mark visible. There you go. Very cool. What the fuck, dude? Toggle. There we go. Those are all or most of our controls. You could add more, but I'm just gonna do these for this tutorial. And now it's time for the scripting part, which I'm gonna get into in the next video, but for now I'm gonna need you to install this plugin called GUI to Lua, but it's a different one. GUI, this one. You're gonna need this plugin. I'm gonna link it in the description. It's basically GUI to Lua, but like a little better, and it supports the newest objects. So yeah, I can actually show you an example. If I convert this, allow scripts. Oh, you have to select the screen GUI. Okay. If I convert it, it's gonna give me this, and this is very good because this makes you able to like literally access everything in your UI. Basically, you won't even need meta tables, but and we won't be working with meta tables in this tutorial because this is more like for beginners. Maybe in the future, I don't know. But yeah, just make sure you get this plugin before you continue because we're gonna need it. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.